It's a new Xcode project. Single view application. We'll call it Firebase testing. I'm not going to select unit test here because most probably you've started your project without unit test. So we'll just basically add the test after we have the project. Yes? Good.
What if we started it with unit tests?
Then you're good. You're good to go.
Okay, cool.
No problem. But I'm starting it without. That way, if some groups do not have it, then they get a refresher of how to add it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Very good. Yep. Okay, so next, I'll put this on my desktop and get this bigger. Okay. Great. So we want to add, we in a state, we have our project. We want to add testing to it. And currently the project does not have testing. Okay. So let's go ahead and add testing to this project. Where do we go? Well, at the nav bar here.
Triangle.
Yes, very good. The testing icon there, the testing navigator. So click on the testing navigator. Currently it says no test. I'll click on the add button here. And I'll add in new unit test target. Okay.
Oh, not the triangle, the diamond. Okay.
Yeah, the diamond. I'll click or test navigator. Yes, but yes, the diamond. So I'll click on the new unit test target. Very good. And here it doesn't have a test already. So what it does, it takes my project name and it adds tests to it. Basically, it appends test to it. So I'll keep that as the default. This is fine. Everything here is okay, and then I'll click finish. And now I have a testing suite. I could now, this is the testing suite. It created this new folder here called Firebase testing, Firebase testing test. Ooh, did not see that coming. So here, this is a new target. So now we have two targets. We have our Firebase testing and we have our Firebase test. And if I go to my Firebase testing test, I have a bunch of stub functions here. Let me know, is the size okay? Or I would rather stay that size if you guys okay with that, or I could go bigger.
A little bit bigger would be a good.
Okay.
Alex?
Yeah?
There's not typically any difference when you're doing this from a workspace, right?
No.
Rather than, okay.
As a matter of fact, you'll see some sort of difference later when we want to use Firebase, but we'll come to that.
Okay.
Okay. Is that good enough, or should we go bigger?
That's good for me.
Everybody?
That's good.
Okay, cool. So we'll just get rid of all that. We'll add in our own test when we're ready. So for now, we have our test. And again, you get asked at some interview, what is the framework you use for testing in iOS? Answer, XCTest. Okay, XCTest, this is the framework we use for testing. Great. Now, to Chelsea's point about workspaces, we are dealing with Firebase, so we need to add Firebase to our project. Okay, let's go ahead and add Firebase to this project here. So now let's navigate over to Terminal. Let's all navigate over to Terminal. Navigate to the project, like where you stored your project or where you saved your project. In my case, my project is called Firebase Testing. So navigate to Firebase Testing and go ahead and run ls and make sure those are the files you have. Can everybody see my terminal?
Yeah.
All right, very good. So now we want to go ahead and start a pod project. How do I start a pod project?
Pod in it.
Pod in it. So now if I do ls, now I have this pod file. The pod file is where we put the pods. Okay, very, very good. Okay, now let's go ahead and open up the pod file. So open pod file. Press enter. Here I have my pod file. There's no pods in here yet. So I want to go ahead and add some pods. Well, the pods we need, pod, enter pod, space, single quote. We'll put in Firebase here, Firebase / auth. So this is for authentication. Next, we'll add in pod. Next, we'll add in pod Firebase Firestore. Third, we'll add pod Firebase storage. So those are the 3 pods we have. So far, so good? Yes? Yeah. Okay, I'll go ahead and Command S to save it, Command S to save, Command Q to quit. And what command am I running now? I want to go ahead and install pods.
Pod install.
I always give it away. Thank you. So based on our internet connection, this could go fast or could go slow based on our connection. To
Alex, you had Firebase, Firestore, and
let me go back to it. Let me go back to it.
Please, thank you.
Yep. Please stop me at any point.
It's just that some be capital, some be lowercase. I just gotta
A lot of things.
Yeah, no, because some of, you know how that go.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Firebase.
So this is all we edited. We edited 3 lines. We have our authentication, we have Firebase, Firestore, and Firebase storage.
And to save it in here, I'm sorry.
Was that Tanya?
To save it in here, like.
Command S to save,
Okay.
and Command Q to quit.
Cool.
Yeah, very good.
Okay, so Command S. I did Command W. What does that do?
Command W?
It was an accident.
Right?
Okay,
right?
I think it works.
Okay, very good, very good.
Awesome. We can do this a million times and it still feels new each time.
That's okay, that's okay. At some point it's gonna feel old. I'll be like, I've seen this enough. Okay, so let's exit out of this. And after this, you'll just run pod install, right? Everybody, yes?
Yeah.
In my case, I have the pods installed already. So this is good. Great. So going back to Xcode. Exit out of.
I'm sorry. I got something that said invalid pod file.
Something name is wrong. You have a wrong name somewhere. Verify the names you have. So Firebase, right? Uppercase F, everything else is lowercase, / auth.
Okay.
Firestore.
Firebase storage.
And those are lowercase pod.
Okay, yeah, great.
Cool.
Thank you.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And you run pod install, yeah?
Yes, all good.
All right, very good. So now go ahead and just exit out of Xcode. And we want to navigate now to, actually, let's make this easier. Let's go back to terminal, type in ls. Now you'll see more files. Now we have this XE workspace that Chelsea was talking about earlier. The XE workspace gets created when we run pod install. Everybody with me? Yep. Hello?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Most of this is review. Some of
Yes.
them might just be the Xcode project. That's what we run from the beginning when we first create a project. But once we run pod install, now we get this XE workspace because it also contains the pod folder along with the pod files. Great. So this is now what we open from now on. So go ahead and type in open firebase.xc work tab. So now I'm trying to open up the XE workspace project, not the XE proj anymore. This is down now over. We're not working with that anymore. So at this point, I'll press enter. And now, as we see, we have this new pods project as well. This has all the pods from Firebase. So I'll just go ahead and open that up, open up our project, open up our test. Was there a question? Hello? What's happening?
Somebody needs to mute.
Mad knows he's
What's
unmuted.
Matt? Matt, is Matt going back to pre-K? What's going on?
Bro. Yo.
Oh man. Okay, how we doing? Is everybody on board?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Now let's continue on for the subject of the day. All what we've done so far is just setting up our environment. Go back to the testing.swift file. Okay. Now we want to test Firebase, right? So what should we do? Well, we need to import Firebase. Import Firebase and Command B. Make sure everything builds correctly. Now we probably have 3,000 files to build. Well, 5,000 tasks to be done. While this is building, we could write some stub functions in here. And also, actually, let's import. We have a lot more things to do. We could actually, no, let's write some stub functions first. Our first function, we'll write a function here. We want to test. We'll be importing some of the assets I sent out earlier. We'll be importing the photos. We'll be importing the video as well, right? So one of the things we want to test is, can we read from the bundle, okay? So we'll write a test here, read from bundle. Okay. Can I read from the bundle? And this here will be a unit test. So we're also doing some review as well of what a unit test looks like. So everything built correctly, that's fine, very good. But first, before we do any Firebase testing, let's see if we could read from the bundle. But before we could read from the bundle, let's add the assets I sent out to our project. So navigate over to your files here, and let's create some folder. We'll create a folder, a new group. Just create a new group. New group, we could call the group, we could say bundle assets or media assets. I don't necessarily think bundle and assets is. So media assets is fine.
Hi, what are you typing on? I'm not seeing anything.
Does everybody see my Xcode right now?
I see, yeah, your view controller, but where are you typing?
I added a new folder in the navigator area.
Oh, okay.
It's called media assets. It's right below the view controller.swift. Do you see that?
Okay.
You see that, Tiffany?
Yes.
It's just a folder, empty folder called, empty folder called media assets.
And in the testing, we did that?
The testing, we haven't done anything
Oh, in the first
much.
one. Okay,
Yep.
so got you.
Yep. Very good. Okay, so media assets. Now let's go ahead and import our assets in here. So I'll go to add files, and everybody has the compressed file at this point, correct? Uncompress it first. The file I sent out this morning, uncompress it. Let's back up here. I select out.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So uncompress it. It has like 3 files in there. Uncompress it. And we want to add the files to this media assets folder. So back in documents, I think that's where I put it. Firebase testing. Just go ahead and add all the 4 assets. We have 4 assets in that compressed file. There's landscape 1, 2, 3, and there is Mulan trailer. Just go ahead and add those. So right now we should have 4 assets in here, right?
Add files. And we just do the add files and just put it in that little whatchamacallit.
Exactly, in the media assets folder.
Did you press add file from the top, or you added it directly to media assets?
I right-clicked on media assets, and I went down to add files.
Okay, got it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Very good.
Boopity boop bop. Got it.
Very good. Very good. Tiff. Okay.
I'm here.
No, just saying, if you're okay, you could mute now because there's some background wind coming from you. Thank you. Any other questions before we move on? Everybody's able to add the assets to the media assets folder?
Yes.
Okay, very good. All right, so now let's go back to our testing.swift file and test read from, or read photo. We'll do the read photo. Test read photo from bundle. Well, just read from bundle. If we could read from the bundle, we could read from the bundle, it's fine. So test read from bundle. Anybody wanna tell me what's the 3 steps of testing of a unit test are?
It's first, isn't it 3 A's? No, assert is last. It's something.
So assert is 1. Okay, assert is 1. What precedes that?
Act.
Act. What precedes that?
It's setup or something.
Yeah. Arrange is good.
Arrange. There we go. Yeah.
Very good. Okay. So here we have the 3 criteria for writing some unit tests, right? Arrange what you want to test, perform the operation on what you want to test, and actually run the test, right? Whatever assert you want to run. Very good. So what are we trying to do here? Well, we're trying to read from the bundle. So I'll create some sort of variable here. I'll call it query path. One second. Tiff?
Sorry.
No, it's okay. So query path, how do we read from, how can I read from, what class do I use to read the files here? Anybody? What class do we use to read from our project? Our project files. Was that somebody said it?
It's bundle.
Bundle, right? So we'll be using bundle. Remember that class. If you want to read anything from your project files, you use the bundle class here. So bundle.main is what we're after. This is a singleton here. And we'll use the function path for resource, okay? The resource we're after, you have to have the exact name of the resource. You could use any, well, we could use any name for now. I'll just use landscape, well, not any name, but one of the names, one of the four assets we have. We have landscape 1, landscape 2, landscape 3, and we have Mulan trailer. So I just go ahead and use landscape 1. This is what I want to read, okay? And what's the type? Well, the type is JPEG, okay? So this is the bundle. This is the singleton to read from our project files. We use path, we pass in the name of the file and the extension on the file. It returns us a URL, some sort of URL, right? Well, it returns us a URL. That URL is optional, is an optional URL. So in the act part of it, we'll say guard let URL, or path, rather. It's a path, it's a string. We'll say path equal to query path. So here we're trying to unwrap it. Well, if we don't get anything here, meaning it doesn't exist, well, our test failed already. So we'll say XCT fail here. And we'll say failed to read path. Okay? So that's the first place we could actually fail. If this doesn't exist, we'll fail here. Okay? If we do get a path back over here, we'll come down here and we'll say XCT. We'll use assert not nil. Well, not nil, because it's not nil here. Basically, if we get down here, the thing is true. So we'll just say XCT assert, and we're just passing through. Okay? Because we all agree if path is down here, path is no longer nil, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or we could also do XCT assert not nil. Again, this doesn't serve any purpose because if it's here, it's not nil. So this is kind of redundant, but you could also do like path here like this, right? But this is kind of redundant because again, we're using a guard statement here. If we have path here, that means path is not nil. So in that particular test, we could just say it's true. If it gets here, it's true. The only thing we want to get back is a path. Do we get the path back? That's all we need, okay? So we're actually not using path here. I could just use the underscore. So this is a unit test. Again, to review, a unit test doesn't require any network, okay? A true unit test doesn't require any network. Later, when we write our Firebase test, it's no longer a unit test because if our network is down, the test is going to fail, okay? But a unit test doesn't rely on any external resources for it to work. Everybody with me?
So we're just testing if,
if we're able to read, if that file exists, basically.
If it, okay, it exists.
Right, so we could probably rename this test if file path exists, right?
Because we're not really, are we reading from it here?
Not yet, we will later.
Okay.
If file path exists. So you could actually just rename this. Test if file path exists. Does this exist? That's all we're testing here. Okay, very good.
Exist within the Xcode project, exist.
You mean this name here?
Is it like exist within like where?
If
like,
landscape 1 exists in our project files.
Oh, okay.
Right, in the bundle here. All those files is part of the bundle.
Okay, right.
Yep. So actually, let's make it fail first. So if I just say landscape, like we have no landscape file, correct? Everybody with me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, there's no landscape file because everything is like either 1, 2, or 3. So let's run that test first. So go ahead and press the play button on the function where in the gutter here, where it says play, press that button. Make sure you have a simulator selected. Why did I choose SE? So the test is running here. And I have a problem. What is happening? Test.
It said it failed, or?
It should have failed. It did not run.
Mine failed.
Yeah, it should fail. I don't know. I have a error somewhere. It should fail because landscape doesn't exist.
No, I have landscape 1.
1 second. Okay. I think I have an error actually. Comment out import Firebase for now. I think we have something else we have to address.
Into testable.
We're not using, you only do testable if we're trying to import from the project itself.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Everybody just please comment out import Firebase for now and run your test again.
I think your resource name is wrong.
I did it on purpose. I did that on purpose. Oh. Yeah. Okay, so everybody at this point, if you have landscape without any number, it should fail. Before we continue, I want to make sure that's correct. Everybody?
Yeah, I got that.
Yes, everybody?
Yes.
All right,
It's-
cool. So obviously, I'm sorry.
Nothing. I was just nothing. Go ahead. It's fine.
Very cool. Okay, so it fails because again, there's no landscape.jpg here, right? But if we were to put any of the numbers here, for example, landscape 2, and run the test again, it's definitely gonna pass this time. Did everybody get a pass?
No, mine
So-
failed. Mine fails.
Okay, Luba's failed. Anybody else failed?
Yes, mine failed too.
I'm
Mine's
sorry?
Mine is still testing.
Yours is still testing. Okay, so let's review some things here. You have media assets here, Luba?
Oh, I think I found
I'm sorry?
one. I think I found an error.
What's the error?
No, I didn't. Wait.
So Alex, was that a bug with the Firebase?
Yeah, we have some more work to do with the Firebase there. Okay, how are we
Is
doing?
it because we didn't set up Firebase in the app delegate?
We're not using Firebase yet.
But why would importing it make your test pass?
You mean earlier?
Yeah.
Xcode right now doesn't see Firebase configure app yet. So for now, we're not using Firebase yet, right? There's more errors it could have thrown to us, but the errors were not shown. Because it should have given us an error earlier, because we don't have Firebase in our pod file. In the test suite of our pods, there's no Firebase there yet. We have to set that up. Right? One?
Set up the...
We have more setup to do in our pod file later.
Okay.
Yep. For right now, we're just testing basic, can we read from the bundle? Can we read a file from the bundle? One?
Yeah. So we're just doing the bundle read, and then I know
We're doing the bundle read, make sure we could read the file, then we'll do more work with Firebase later.
Once we set up the stuff on the website and download the...
Exactly, we have a lot more
list.
work to do.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. This is part of like reviewing what unit test looks like. Okay, because part of it is we have to read later into this
See,
lesson.
this is what I was waiting for. The reason why I was asking before, because not to cut you off, Alex, I'm sorry. I left the import Firebase on my test profile and I let the test run. It took a little while to do, but it passed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like there's more errors there I think Xcode wasn't throwing away, but just comment it out for now.
Okay.
Okay, comment it out for now. So it's a bit of review to talk about what unit test looks like. And then after that, we'll go ahead and set up our Google plist like we always do. And we will continue doing Firebase testing.
Okay.
Okay, cool. All right, was everybody able to get this test to pass?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Luba, were you able to get it as well?
Yes.
What was the error?
JPEG was spelled wrong.
Oh, this guy here? Okay, cool. All right, great. Thank you. Now let's write one more unit test and then we'll go over and do the Firebase setup. So the other test is to see if we could get data back from that URL. So we'll write a test, what will I call this? I'll call this.
Get data back from URL.
I like that. Can I put convert in there? Convert,
yeah.
Convert URL, well, URL path, or convert path to data, something like that. Bundle path. All right. Again, we have our arrange, we have our act, and we have our assert.
Spell bundle wrong.
I spelled bundle wrong. Thank you, Mr. Eric. Cool. So most of that has been done for us. We're able to get back. So you could copy 24 through 28, basically. We can copy that and just paste it here.
Ooh.
I know, right? Somebody's doing some illegal activity. It's not me, though. Just for purposes of trying something different, let us do landscape 1. If you have 2, you could put 3. If you have 1, you could put, right? So here we'll actually be using the URL this time. I don't want to call this URL. Why do I keep calling this URL? Call it path. It's a path. It's a string. And this is not the acting part of it. The acting part of it will be down here. Okay. And now we want to convert some string path to data. Okay. So we'll use a guard statement because it is optional as well. I'll call this image data because this is image data.
Do you want to leave the XCT fail in there?
Where am I?
Or we might as well.
Yeah, leave it there. Yeah, that's good. Still holds. Because if this guy doesn't exist, it's gonna fail here.
Okay.
We'll be using the file manager to read from the path that we have. And the file manager also has a singleton called default. And that default, we just want to read in the contents. So contents takes a path. The path needs to be a string. Well, we have a path here. It is a string. So we just pass in path. And here we could still fail. If we don't have, if this fails, if this is nil, we failed here. XCT fail. And here I just say failed to, well, failed. Nil. Oh, contents. Failed data contents is nil. Okay, so now we have our image data. We could simply just, again, very similar to what we did before, we could say XCT assert it's true. As if we get down here, that means our data, we have data, right? You could see if data is greater than 0. You could do something like that as well. I also don't want to use this. You could say if data is greater than 0, if is greater than 10, and so forth. If you know the exact size, the data size of your image, you could actually put, is my data equal to 10,000 bytes? Everybody with me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see something. Let's try that. Let's use image data. And let's do XCT assert equal. Let's do image data dot size. Image data. No, greater than. Image data. Let's do image data greater or equal. Greater than. Let's do image data dot count is greater than 0. This is going to fail because we don't know the size of it, but it's going to give us some size later, and we know the size and we could run it again. So let's go ahead and run that test. Whoa. Greater than, well, sorry, it is greater than 0. That's a bit dumb. Let's do some big number. So here was the number, 37024. Can I get a validation that somebody else got landscape 1 being 37024?
Still on it.
Yes, I got the same number, Alex.
Very good. So I could take that number. It's not going to change. Our image is not going to grow. I could put that number here and say equal to. So the count here, this should be equal to this. And then run it again. And here we passed. Okay. So again, those are 2 examples of unit tests, right? Nothing here will change, and nothing here depends on anything else. If we don't have the path, it fails. It doesn't exist. But if we do get down here, our image count should be equal to 37024 bytes. Before I continue, I want to make sure everybody else is up to here. And again, this is landscape 1. If you put in this number in, it's landscape 1. Can I get a next confirmation from somebody else?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
very
that
good. Thank you. Anybody else still working?
With
No.
that number, my test failed.
Yours said failed, Tanya, you said?
Yes, with landscape 1 and 37024.
It fails here.
Oh, I see what I did. I still have a grader. That's
Okay.
what it is.
Yep. I'll wait for you and then we'll continue.
Two.
Yeah, it's the test pass.
All right, perfect, great. So this is our 2 unit test we've written so far. I think that's it for unit test now. Now let's go to writing some asynchronous tests. Asynchronous.
Can you scroll up your screen?
Yep. Like here?
No, like move it so that asynchronous is closer to. Yeah. That's good. Thank you.
You are welcome. I want to make sure we leave this knowing the differences between the two. So an asynchronous test here, you could also call this like a network test.
So would the first, the first one that we did wouldn't be, never mind.
What are you saying?
Nothing.
You gotta share. Don't keep everything to yourself.
No, it was a silly question. I'm good.
Come on, nothing is silly. Okay, let us now go. Yes,
Before
sir.
we move on real quick, so
Yep.
the second test was just checking
second
if there
test
was
was
data in the path.
Yes.
Okay.
If we could take that path and create data from it.
Okay, that makes more sense. All right, word.
Very good. Now let's navigate to the browsers of choice. And let's go to our Firebase console. So just simply type it in console. You should see Firebase there. So console that, what's that? Okay, let's go to our Firebase accounts and let's create a new project. We'll call this Firebase testing. Is everybody able to log into their Firebase console?
Yep.
Okay, so we named the project Firebase testing. Click continue. Click continue. Account is your default account. Create project. Again, based on your internet speed, that's going to probably be slower or faster. Project is ready. Okay, thank you, sir. Continue. We're in our project. We want to test.
Alex, I can't get past the. I put in a name for the project and the continue button is grayed out. Do I press something underneath or?
Chelsea,
Just click enter.
Yeah, just click enter. That happened to mine too.
Okay.
Okay, thank you all. Let us know if you're in your console, Chelsea.
Default account, create project. Yeah, it's loading now. It should be fine. Thank you.
Okay, cool. So let's turn on authentication. First, go to authentication in our left panel. Click on authentication. Let's turn that on. So go to authentication, click on set up sign-in method here. And we'll just use email password. Right now it's disabled. right? It's disabled. So go to our edit icon, and just enable it. Just click enable here. The first one is fine, and then save. So we've enabled authentication. That means our app now could accept email password as a way to create a user account. The next thing we'll do, we'll go to database. Is everybody okay with authentication?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so now we'll go to database and look for this create database button here. So that create database button, click on it. Okay. And click next. Select the location. I'll just stick with the default location. Anybody
Alex,
else done yet? What's that?
I do apologize. Did I miss something? Do we need like Google service info?
We
please?
haven't gotten there yet. Yulia? We haven't gotten there yet.
How to get to authorization before that. Okay.
Authentication is here. Do you see where it says develop?
Okay, yeah, I see now. Yeah.
Click authentication.
We enabled
We enabled email password. Yulia?
yeah. I'm on pass. Thank you.
All right, very good. And database, let's go back to database. Everybody's in database?
Yep.
Okay, go to rules and let's update our rules. Click on rules. And let's update these rules here. Because right now, nobody cannot read or write to this database. It says allow read write if false. We want to change this to say allow request dot off dot UID is not equal to nil or no. Okay, so update your rules to read write if request of ID is not equal to null, meaning if there's an authenticated user, only if there's an authenticated user, they could read and write to my database. Are we good?
It's UID. You said IUD.
ID. Oh, UID. Sorry. Very good. How are we doing? Are we good with this?
Yep.
Okay, click publish. And now we have new rules. We could also see the old rules we had before, so that's not gonna kill. You could always revert to an old rule or go to your present rule. You'll see the rule history. So now we've created our database. We updated the rules. Now we could only read and write to it if we authenticated. All that is good. Let's go to storage as well. Click on storage. Storage. Click on storage and click on get started. The rules is the same as our database rules. We click next. We click done. Creates default bucket. And that's good as well. Great. Now, let's now go to the project settings. That's where Yulia answer is gonna come in about the Google plist. Let's go to our settings. Click on settings, click on project settings. And right now we have no app. It says there's no app in your project, right? Well, we're not doing Android, so we're doing iOS. So we'll click on iOS. Is everybody on this page before I continue?
Yes.
Okay, click on iOS. And now let's navigate to Xcode and get the same bundle name. So go to Xcode, click on Firebase testing, go to the bundle identifier. Do we all see our bundle identifier?
Yep.
Do we all see our bundle identifier? Yes?
Yes. Yeah.
Copy the bundle identifier, navigate back to your Firebase console, paste it in. App name, you don't need that. App ID, you don't need that. Register app. So click on register app. Register app. Great. At this point, we're pretty much done. Download Google Plist. Click on download Google Plist.
Wait, make sure you don't have one there already, or else you're
I
gonna
could
have.
I could override mine. Because you could always
Yeah.
re-download. You could always re-download them.
I deleted just in case.
Got it. So I'll go to downloads. I will click save. I'll override it. And right now I have a Google Plist in my downloads waiting to go. We'll click next just to go through this. We've done this part already. We've installed pods. We haven't done that part. So we just need to remember to do this and next, and we are done. This is pretty much done. Let's now go back to Xcode. Let's go to the app delegate. Import Firebase here. Import Firebase, right? Question? Question?
No.
Import Firebase. And what are we doing here? Well, we need to register our app so that Firebase could also talk to it and the app could talk to Firebase. So here we'll say Firebase app.configure. Okay. So import Firebase and add line 17. At this point now, our app could talk to Firebase. Firebase could talk to our app. Now there's two-way communication. One knows about the other. Great. Well, let's now go back to our testing.swift and let us import Firebase. Let's also import Firebase auth.
Alex, something because of my plist. What did
We didn't add the plist yet. I'm sorry. Thank you.
No, but what did you do before this?
The app delegate.
You copied that thing?
Yeah.
Alex.
Yes.
On my end, it has Firebase auth crossed out. Do I just click on it anyway?
Yeah, just click on it anyway.
Okay, cool.
And we also need to import, I forgot, we need to import our plist. We haven't done that. So click on, well, not the test. Let me close this out so that we don't make any errors here. We want to put in our plist. Let's just put it right above or right below our launch screen. So just click on your launch screen .storyboard, right click on it, go down to add files, and navigate to where you save your Google plist. Mine is in downloads. I'll click on Google plist. Make sure it says Google plist service, right? I mean, Google service. There's no parens 1 after it. If there is, you could edit it in Xcode as well, or you could edit it in Finder. Okay, and click add. So what do we have? We have our Google plist. I'll pause here to make sure.
Wait, if it has one that we can just delete it?
Yes. Exactly. Yeah, if it has a 1 after the info, you could edit it in Xcode itself.
Okay.
But just make sure that's the same plist you downloaded, right? One way to verify is to look at the database URL and make sure, well, not database URL. Look at the bundle ID in the plist, and it should be the same bundle ID, like Firebase testing should be the bundle ID.
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
And in app delegate,
app delegate, we imported Firebase, and we added line 17 to configure Firebase with the app.
Okay.
A lot of moving parts. And then we'll go back to testing, go back to test.swift and build. Let's verify our test still run. We could run all our tests here. all our tests did run, great. Now let us go ahead and add Firebase test. One of the first tests that could be very helpful is finding out, can I create an account, right? Can I create a Firebase user, right? So let's go ahead and write a test for that. So test create authenticated user. We'll write the next test, create database user.
Can somebody mute themselves? It's really hard to hear Alex.
Can you hear better now, Cassandra?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, very good. Okay, I want to verify something before I continue. I want us to go back to our Firebase console. We have an authenticated user. What's an authenticated user? An authenticated user appears here in our authentication area, okay? If I'm talking about a database user, I'm looking for a database user in some sort of collection here. Does that make sense to everybody before I continue?
Yes.
Okay, because there are two different things. An authenticated user is a created user that has an email and password, right? I might not necessarily have a database user, which we do not have yet, right? So those are the two differences there when I'm writing the test we're about to write. Okay, so here we just want to create an authenticated user with email password. Okay, so let us go ahead and do so. We'll do the same sort of arrange, act, and assert. But now this is this a unit test?
No.
No, it's not a unit test, right?
No.
It depends on the network. If our network is down, this test will fail, right? This is an asynchronous test, okay? So let's go ahead and arrange. The setup is the same, but the names are different. And yeah, they're doing different things. So here our arrange, well, we need an email. We need a pass. What's that?
That's a funny email, that's all.
And we need a password. And good, so we have this. Next we need to do, since this is an asynchronous test, I need an expectation. An expectation will tell me when my asynchronous network call is done. So I need to set up an expectation here. It's of type expectation. It's of type XCT expectation. And here I'll give it a description. I'll just say, what is this? Account created or off user created. Okay. Great. We have those two pieces of information, and now we could go ahead and act. Well, what does our act look like? We have Firebase off, right? Yeah, we have Firebase off. So let's go ahead and use Firebase off. So Firebase off dot off dot off. And what we want to do, we want to create a user. Email we have, password we have, completion is off data result. We have an error. Asset. So here, both of them are optional. We'll first check to see if we have an error. If we have an error, else we have the off data result. Else if let off data result equal to off data result. Okay. When we're in this completion, in this closure here, when we're in this closure here, now we could just say our expectation is fulfilled. At this point, our network request has completed. It's now finished. So here we could say expectation fulfilled. And we also have to give it a waiting period because, again, it's an asynchronous call. If we were to run this right now, it would just say succeed or failed without giving us any information, whether it's right or wrong. So we have to wait for a period of time. Here I could just say wait at the very bottom of our function. Wait takes in an array of expectation, and we could give it an interval. A good interval is like 3 seconds. So 3 seconds. If you have a slower network, you might want to increase that, but 3 seconds should be plenty of time for this to come back. And now let's go ahead and do our assert. Okay. I'll stop here for people to catch up typing and asking any questions we may have. Any questions so far?
No.
Can you explain the fulfill one more time?
So the fulfill is basically saying, it's like when we write our completion handlers and we have the completion with the things we expect to get back, right? Like in our regular code, we would have some sort of like completion, like give me the data that you got back. Like what I'll have completion like this saying true or something like that, true. And then some sort of array of venues, for example. Does that look familiar, one?
Yeah, the completion handler for the escaping closure.
Exactly, exactly. So here, if we don't have that, we don't get data back in our view controller, correct?
Right.
Exactly. So here you have to tell the test itself, like, I'm done. This is a way of saying I am done. Now go ahead and run your assert.
Okay, so it's saying I got the stuff you need, but now we gotta see if it's like the right data.
If the assert passes or fails.
Okay, cool.
Very good. So you need to have that. If you don't have that, it's not going to give the result you expected. So here in our failure block, here we have an error. So it could basically fail here. And a good fail, we could say failed to create off user with error. And we could just put in the error here. We could use the localized description error. Great. And next we could say xct assert equal, well, we have the off data result dot user dot email. That email should be equal to the email we created. Everybody sees this line of code?
Yes.
Yeah, right. So if we did create a user, that off data result email should be the same email as the email we have in our arrange statement. Cool? Okay. Yes.
So these tested users will show up on Firebase.
Yes.
Okay. So even though it's a test, it's having like the actual implications on your.
Exactly. Okay. Like the reason why I wanted to show this to us again is to get us developing faster to see if our Firebase logic makes sense, or not even makes sense. Does it work? As opposed to like creating 5 view controllers.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. Yeah.
Yep. Very good. So now we have all the part. Yes, go ahead, Eric.
So being that this does create a user, does that mean this would only pass one time and then you have to delete the user?
We could keep creating users. It's just going to create the same user. We might get it. We'll get an error.
Yeah, but if someone were to like be checking our tests, for example, that's a good point. Like hypothetically,
it's gonna fail because
yeah. So we'll fix that. That's a good question. We'll fix that with like every time I run it, it creates a different user.
Okay.
All right. Very good question. So the first two times we run it is going to fail, as we said, but we'll fix it such that every time I run that test, it creates a new user.
All right.
Cool. Very good. Very good observations. All right. So let's first test to see if this hard-coded name works. So let's go ahead and run this. Yeah, let's go ahead and run this. I want to choose a different simulator. Okay, it says succeeded here. Let's verify on our Firebase console. So go to Authentication. And here we do have the email. So before I continue, let's verify that we all have a username we created or an email we created. That was almost too fast, right? It's almost like it was a bit fake. How are we doing? Did everybody have an account?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, confirmation all around, yes?
Yep.
All right,
I'm waiting for mine.
So to verify what Matt and Eric were talking about, so if I was to run this test again, what's gonna happen? Well,
it's gonna fail
it's
because you're
gonna
not
fail,
creating.
right? It's gonna fail with the appropriate message. Hey, this email is already taken, okay? So let's fix that. Let's write a helper function somewhere. How are we doing on time? Let's write a helper function somewhere like random email or random name. Let's try to get some random name here. A function that just returns some string. Okay. We could have alphabet. We could have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. And what do we want here? Well, we want a random thing. So return alphabet.random. Well, we want the character. It's not going to help us. We want a string. So get a string here. Some name. And we could say for some number in 0 to 4. So 5 characters. Go ahead and name and some character here. In alphabet. Do I care about this? No, I don't care about this. So for, let's just do this. Name plus equal some string.
Alex, are you creating a function to create a random name?
Yeah.
Wow.
Is that not okay?
No, just cool.
Okay. Not this. I don't want that. Random character element.
That's a DSA problem.
I know, right? Maybe we should give that later. Return name. Okay. How many possibilities of names we have here? There's the DSA question. Hey, random element is not a K character. String, append. And we don't need this. Question, deletable. What is happening? Random optional. Well, give me anything then. Give me A. How many possibilities do we have here? How can we find that out?
Factorial.
Ah, very good. Very good.
Wait, doesn't it depend though? What about the order?
Well, not the order, but just like from 26 characters, how many possibilities of 5s we have or something like that. Right. Okay.
Same letter, like AA.
We don't really care. Like, it's just going to be unique for the most part. If it's not, we're going to hit an error. You could check to see if you've used that before. We could get really fancy, but this is not for today. That's just to solve our one problem here. So we have a random name. This just returns a string, and we'll use it. Where is my thing? We'll use it right here. So up on line 57, just call random name here. So random name will get us a name, and let's see how random it is, right? Okay, let us now run it again. And it succeeded. Let's see the name it created. Refresh. Here we have almost a real name, not really. Did anybody get a real name? That would be really cool.
Wait, can you go back to the function? Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. I went back to the function. It's here. Oh, you wanted me to? Go ahead.
No, not that. I got the function, but I'm trying to understand how it knows to put it at soandso.com. How does it know to add it at bunny.com?
Oh, because we interpolated here.
Where?
On line 57. Do you see line 57?
I think my numbers are different from yours. Can I see your screen?
Oh, sorry, our email. Where let email equal to on the arrange.
Oh, so we put random name and oh, wow. Okay, cool.
Fancy.
Got it.
Cool.
Yes. Let me see that again. Wow. I know this is basic little things, but it's just so interesting. Okay.
Yep. So that becomes handy to create like random users or test users. Yep. At this point, we're able to say, yes, our authentication works. Did everybody get a user in their authentication console?
Yes.
All right, very good. So now we could move to testing our database then. So here we could even say, well, we could do something else here. We could say, this is testing Firebase, testing. We're gonna end in 30 minutes, we'll end at 12. Testing authentication. And again, there's other things you could do here, right? There's many other things you could do. Can I sign in a user? Can I sign out a user? Can I delete a user? Everybody with me? Hello?
Yep.
All right, cool. All right, so we tested authentication. We could go on to test database. Very good, right here. And I'll take this helper function and I'll put it over here. And now we'll test to create a database user. Great. So now let's create a database user. Again, our testing functions never take in any arguments here. Doesn't
Do you
return
have to put that function inside of the previous function? You couldn't just make that one like a general function?
This one?
The random.
It is a general, but since it was working with the name here, I just put it here. I could have left it anyway, it doesn't matter.
No, I mean, couldn't you put it outside of the
bracket? Oh, you mean like the testing altogether? Yeah, you can, but then you have to start importing the project at testable and all that stuff, which is okay.
Wait, no. All right, can I see your screen? Because I'm back on my laptop now and it's not as fun.
We're in our Firebase testing class.
Okay, when you scroll, can you scroll down?
Scroll down. We did the convert bundle to data.
Right, scroll down.
We did the authenticated user.
Right. Because you said that you were gonna copy it and so okay, no. So then we on the same page. I left the random function is on its own. It's not inside of any of the other functions.
You mean it's outside the class?
No, it's inside of the class, but one function, the test create authentic, that it's not in that function, right?
Yeah, it's not. No.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, cool. Test create database user. That's fine. The name is okay. We want to create a database user. Let's go ahead and do so. By the way, since we created a user, that user is logged into the application. Everybody with me?
Yeah.
Right? Like if I was to run, like, is there a current user? There is a current user. Are we on the same page?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see what that means more as we write more code. I want to create a database user. What do I want to give the user? Well, let's set up our arrange. Let's do our assert, our act, and let's do our assert. Well, we want to create a user. So we could start off by saying we have a user dictionary of some sort, which is string any. What does the user have? Well, the user has some email. The user has, what do you guys want your user to have? You could just give me properties, maybe a created date. Created date, which is some date, which is the current date. What else? Are you guys working in your apps? What else do you want the user to have? A formatted address. I'm looking for participation from the audience.
Phone number.
Okay, phone number. Thank you. Formatted address. The user is at 568 Broadway. Phone number. We'll stop at phone number. This is good enough. Phone number. All right, email, we need email. Maybe we need username, or we'll call it display name, doesn't really matter. All right, this is our dictionary object. This is what it looks like. We need to get the user who's currently logged in. How do we do that? We go to Firebase current user, else we don't have a user. Well, we could fail here right away. XCT fail, no log user. If we do have a user, great. Now we could start using their own information, user.email. Okay. So far, so good. Is there any questions so far about what we're doing here? Okay. Next, what do I want? I probably want some document ID or user ID. Actually, I could just use the user ID. What am I doing? I don't need that. We could use user ID is user.uid, because we want to associate an ID with the user, right? Other than that, it's going to be impossible to find that user in our database. So this is probably the most important key you need in your database. Make sure you're able to access the user. So we're creating a new user with the authenticated user ID. Okay. All right, now let's continue on. Do we have Firestore imported yet? Let's go up to import Firestore.
Wait, can you go back?
I'm gonna go back down. Go up first and make sure you import Firestore. So we have off, we have Firestore, and we might not get to this today, but just put in storage. So those are the three things we test in. Test to see if we could create an off user, test to see if we could create a database user or database, whatever we need, and test storage. And now I'm gonna go back down. And we are here. Was there any question in specific, Tiff?
No, I was just, because now I'm back on my laptop, my phone died, which is
okay. Got it.
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to make sure I had everything.
Awesome. So we have our dictionary object. Now let's go ahead and
I'm sorry, what did we import before Firebase storage?
Firebase off, Firestore, and storage.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And the username, we'll just check to see if there's a username, but we'll just say user display name. And now let's go ahead and perform the operation on our database. So firestore.collection well, do I have a document? Collection. We'll call this users. So here, this is the name of our collection. Do we have a collection yet in our database?
No.
No, right? So it doesn't matter if we have one or we don't. If we have one, it just writes to it. If we don't have one, what happens?
It creates it.
It creates it. Very good. So here, collection. So the way we write to Firebase, as always, is collection, followed by what? Document. Thank you. So here we'll say collection.document. Use the one that says document path. So we could pass in, what's a good path to pass here?
Their ID.
ID, very good. So here we'll say user.uid. Very good. And now we'll just say set, well, where am I? Document dot set data with completion. So document dot set data with completion. So you want to select the one that says set data with completion handler here. Everybody with me?
Yeah.
Okay. Enter, enter, enter. This is what our function should look like now, right? We have our collection, we have document, we have set data. The thing we're about to send up to Firebase is a dictionary object. Well, we have a dictionary object here, so we could just use that dictionary object here. User dictionary. Okay. Great. Next, we'll check to see if we have an error. If error. If there is an error, well, we failed. Failed to create DB user with error. Error.localized. The only thing we concern about right now is if we failed. If we didn't fail, I'm sorry about the sirens here. Sorry. Okay, so if we get down to line 116, that means we were able to create that user. So xct assert assert. Let's say true. Does everybody agree with me here? So if there's no error, that means we are able to complete our database task, right? Because we don't get any arguments back from Firebase here. It would be nice if we got like some object, like the object we created, and queried the object. But for now, we only have the error object. If there's no error, everything else went well. Everybody with me?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yep.
Cool. What else are we missing here? We're writing an asynchronous test. What else are we missing here for this to work?
Expectation.
Expectation, very good. So here we'll create an expectation, expectation. Here I'll just say DB user created. Somebody else, what else I need to do now? I have my expectation. How can I use it? Yulia? Shania, unmute yourself, please.
Yes, 1 second.
Sure.
So we have the expectation, and to use it, we do the xcassert equal to or equal with the expectation part, right?
We have the expectation. How do we use it? We don't compare it to anything else. how do we use it? Like, how do we know when the asynchronous call is done? What do we do with the expectation to know that the async call is done?
Oh, the wait for expect.
So we need to do a wait for, very good. So wait for expectation here with some sort of timeout. Very good. Somebody else. Luba, unmute yourself, please. Luba?
Yes. What?
Yeah, so the question is, what else we need to do? How do we know when the asynchronous call is done? How do we use the expectation constant here to know, to tell us when the asynchronous call is done?
I don't know.
Okay, that's fair. Chelsea, unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, because I was hoping it didn't. We have an XCT fail and an XCT assert true.
Right, so we've done
I'm
our
guessing we have to
asserts.
do
Uh-huh.
to check that it's available. Can we do an assert equal?
Assert equal is, the assert logic is basically done already. But right now, our expectation needs to know when it's done. You could look at the logic we wrote earlier.
That's what I'm looking at. So when it's done.
Because right now, if I was to run this, let's see what happens. Right. Okay, take the balloon and that is teaching bubble. So if I run the code right now, I get an error saying async wait failed, meaning the timeout exceeded and it failed. So
does that mean that nothing was returned? Like it
that means that it timed out before anything was returned.
So it has to be fulfilled?
Yes, it has to be fulfilled. Very good. Where would we put it?
We can put that. We can put it underneath the before the assert.
Good. Nora, can you close the door for Daddy, please? Thank you. Very good. Thank you, Chelsea. So now if we were to run this again, it's going to update us like, hey, the async call is done. Here's your results, right? So if we run this test again, boom, Chelsea made it work. Thank you, madam. So here, it passed. Now let's go to our console and verify that we do have a user in our database. So go to your console, click on the database. And like that, we have a users collection and we have a user with the fields that we pass in. The created date, the email, formatted address, and all that stuff that we have. Okay. Cool? Very good. Thank you. Any questions about that? So the big differences between the unit test we wrote, the first 2 unit tests we wrote, and this asynchronous test, you have to have this expectation here. You must say when it's fulfilled, and you must wait for some time, right? Any questions before we continue?
Generally speaking, oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Generally speaking, how do you determine timeout of 3 seconds is a reasonable amount of time? I mean, I imagine we're doing this like in-house during development, so the internet connection should be good. But how do you come up with 3 seconds?
3 seconds is like a rule of thumb, kind of. You could do 5 seconds, but anything longer than that, it's not a good test to run.
Okay.
Right. Like if the connection is slower than that, you as well probably do like a mock test or something like that. That'll give you faster results. Because remember, the more tests you run, the slower it takes for development time.
Right.
So if you were to run like 100 tests with a timeout of 10 seconds,
sure,
it will add up to that development time there. And at that point, the benefit cost is not really efficient enough.
Gotcha.
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
Very good. That's why at the end of the day, asynchronous tests, they're good for certain purposes, but at the end of the day, they're not as fast as a unit test.
Right. Understood.
Very good. Okay, so everybody verified that the database user got created? Yes, no, maybe?
Yep, created for me.
All right, very, very good, very, very good. Okay, we have 15 minutes. Let us attempt to do storage and finish in the time we need to. So we tested, this is not authentication, this is database.
Alex, I have a question.
Yep.
Is it a good idea to just test the functions that you created within the class?
You could do that as well. You could do that as well. But what we did here is just writing the test just to test Firebase itself. But you could write tests on your functions for your database service classes.
Okay.
Yep. Ideally, you want to write a test for each function you have in your database service class.
Wow.
That's called like test, like code coverage. So ideally, there's some people that's like really on the edge of this, like saying my test coverage needs to be about almost 100%, but that's like, you know, like 70% is fine, is really good. Like if you're at 70% code coverage, meaning 70% of the functions you have, there's a test for it, this is really, really good.
Okay.
So I'm assuming you have 10 functions in your database class, your database service class, right? Like 7 of those, you test them. That's 70% there.
Okay, fair.
But again, the higher, the better. That means all your functions are basically tested.
How would you just test your functions in your in your test, like in your test file? How would you just the functions? Would you take exactly the function that you have?
Well, what you do, let's do a quick example and then we'll go into the storage part of this. So in my, let's just create a file and we'll just call it database service. And this is going to be some class or struct. Let's make it a class because that's probably what you'll do since it's probably a singleton. Database service. We'll just write a function here, is employed. This is just a test. Everybody with me?
Yep.
Basically, you want to test a function here. So is employed takes in some sort of Boolean value, status, and some Boolean value. Returns some Boolean value. Okay. Is employed, so if status turn true, else return false. Okay. TIFF, so that function could be any function you write, right? You agree?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and test this particular function here. Let's
you
go
have
back.
to do testable into your project?
Yep, very good. You're ahead of me. Very good. So now we have this database class here. We go here and we want to test it. So we have to go ahead and import it here. What's a good place to import this? I will import it here at testable import Firebase testing build. Make sure we have no errors. Okay, now let's go ahead and test. Let's go at the bottom here. Test is employed, for example. Arrange, insert, and okay, so here, what do we want to do? We'll say status equal to false.
Alex, that's a function, right?
It's a function. Yes, sir. Thank you. What am I writing? Python? No, even Python, you need def somewhere. Okay, so act here, status here, and now we want to act on it. So what's the function name called? We got to create an instance of database. That's going to be in the range as well. Let's create an instance of database service. Database service. And now let's go ahead and act on it. So database service dot is employed pass status. Let's not use. Let's move this here and just put true here. And put status here. Okay, cool. So we have some status here, and we want to test it now. Well, if I put true here, what should it return? What should status be?
It should be true.
Status should be true. Okay. So here we'll simply say xct assert equal status should be true. Let's run this. Test is employed. Build. If you see sometimes like the diamond is gone, just build. Everybody with me?
Okay.
Like this was not, it was basically gone. I just built and it came back. Yes? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now just click play. And now this should pass. So Tiff?
Okay.
Whatever your function is, you just test the function itself. So here we're just testing the function is employed.
Okay.
Okay. Yours might have a completion because it's like asynchronous call. So you just put like your assert in the, very similar to this here. You would have like a thread enclosure. You'd put like your assert in the thread enclosure.
Okay.
Cool?
Yes, I understand. Thank you.
Very good. All right, let us move to, any other questions about that?
No.
Yeah, can you scroll back to the top? I don't know what was
To
on
the
recorded.
top, oh, you mean like this here? The
Yeah,
testable part?
Yep. I put that, but it said it's not available. Maybe I have a different name.
Yeah, you maybe have a different name. Make sure your project name, this is the project name, this is the target name here, Firebase testing.
I have a hyphen. Yeah.
Yep.
I got it. Thank you.
Can you scroll down to the bottom one more time, please? I just want to see your setup.
We created instance of database service because this is instance method.
Right.
Yep. I mean, we could have just done this here, but again, we just created an instance of it. So we use it on the instance, and that's that.
Yeah,
I mean, it could have been like ideally it should have been a singleton, and then you just call it on the singleton here. That's probably what you guys will do for your project.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Can you also go back to the database service?
Database
I think I might have missed something. 1 second.
Are we okay if we go like 12:10?
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to show the storage, and then that's about it.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
That's 15. You're welcome.
Wait, sorry. Just so the arrange is where you do the database service. The act is where you do database.
I call the function. I pass in some argument.
And then you want to know if status is true because it's going to return a Boolean. Okay.
Yep.
But if you want to know if whatever you're expecting is what you're getting from
exactly.
And that's if the function returns something. If the function doesn't return something, you won't need a return. But how exactly would it work if it's not returning something? Would you just still do the same thing?
Well, the function should either capture a value. If you're doing a database function, it either returns some value or it's going to capture some closure. Some closure is going to capture some value.
Okay. I just want to be sure.
Yeah. So if your function, for example, here, Tiffany.
Yeah.
if it returned like a closure or captured some closure, a closure captured a value, you would have trading closure syntax here, and you would have your assert in here. And you wouldn't have any return here.
Okay, gotcha.
Cool.
Okay. If you said if the function was capturing a value,
you would have a trading closure, and you wouldn't have a return value. And then whatever you capture in here, status, for example, you would check to see what status is in your closure.
oh, if it's a completion then.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
All right, very good. Once you call your function will give you the way it should be called, and then you just basically do your assert. If it's a completion handler, you would do it in the trading closure. If it returns a value, you would just test it on the value return here, as we do now.
Thank you.
Cool?
Yeah.
I think,
Alex?
yes.
I'm not understanding why my database service isn't being registered. It says use of unresolved identifier database service, and I closed it.
What is that? What do you say database service?
And the test is employed.
Here?
I put let database service equal database service, and
I'll take a look at your code offline. Is that okay?
No problem.
So for now, that function, just comment it out for now.
Okay.
Okay. I want us to see the storage part, and then I'll come back and continue on. Are we all okay with the asynchronous test, by the way?
Yeah.
Yes. And the question about, I think your question, Tiffany, about having like some sort of closure, like if you have a function here, fetch user, right? And you have some sort of completion here, at here. The kids are going.
It's
right.
okay.
And you have result type, which is some string and some error. Right. So here you have a function. It has a closure, right? Doesn't return anything. Yes?
Right.
You could test a function like this here. You would do function test fetch user, and you do, what's this thing called? I'll create my database, let database service equal to database service. And then I'll call my database service, fetch user with some sort of completion result.
And then you would just do it based off of like basically how you would do the function and have it equal to what you're looking for.
Exactly. So now you just switch on result here. Right.
Right. And then when you switch it on the result, that would be your success or your fail. That would be your XCT, pass or fail.
Exactly. So you just like do case, what is the thing? Dot failure, some error. And then break here, and then case dot success. Dot success, which is some string. Break here. So this is it. If you get here, the test failed, correct?
Right.
If you get here, just test to see the string you expecting back, is it the string?
Okay.
In that particular example, it could be an array of some music media items.
Right. And if it, you need, but that one, that's not asynchronous. It's not coming from.
This is asynchronous. You still have to do, this is coming from a network, right?
Right.
You still have to do the expectation.
Just making sure.
Yep, yep, yep. Does that help you?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
All right, very good. So you have some boilerplate code to test your function here. This is good. Very good. Very good. Okay. Lastly, we have about 15 minutes. We'll get into testing storage. We've imported storage already. If you don't import storage yet, just import it here, storage. Right, everybody, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we need some code here. Let us get copy 38 through 49. We'll need that to get the data. In that case, we'll take a photo and upload the photo to Firebase. So here, just copy from the query path to the image data. Just copy that. And let's go write our last function. Function test upload photo. Okay. Actually, let's just do upload video. Upload video. We have some things to change. Upload video. The video is called trailer. Make sure the name is spelled the same. Yes? Well, it's gonna fail. It's gonna fail anyway. That's why tests are great. Now, JPEG here is MP4. And failed data contents is nil. This is good. We'll just change this to video data. All right, so far so good. Now we have video data. This is all part of arranging. Let's get our expectation out of the way. XCT expectation. Here we just say video uploaded. So this we have video data. This is not the acting of this. And now let's go to the acting part of this. Well, we still have some more arranging to do. Let storage reference equal to Firebase storage. That reference is a Storybase reference. Great. Was that? That wasn't enough dot properties there for us? Video path. Well, what is video path gonna be? Storage ref dot child. We'll call it videos, that's fine. / this is gonna be a hard-coded name. Actually, let me not hard-code the name. I'll just do something like this, video name. And then just call this, actually we could have gotten this here like this, but that's okay. Let me not get too fancy, that's okay. Mulan. Okay, so here we have our storage reference. This reference is to your Firebase storage. This reference points to our storage bucket here. It points here. Everybody with me?
Yep.
All right. And now we're saying, go ahead, create a folder called videos. And in videos, put Mulan. Okay. All right. We need to create some metadata of type storage, metadata. And metadata, the only thing we'll change right now is the content type. The content type is the meme type. Meme type. What is meme type? Meme type example is, we've seen meme types before, like application, JSON, not meme types, but content types, JSON. But in our case here, what are we after? We've also seen images, the meme type images, JPEG. But now we are using video MP4. Okay? So here we'll put in video if you're looking for music, other things like that, a good place to see different meme types is on the MDN website. So meme types, I'll just slug this out. So here you can see different meme types. Again, multi-purpose internet mail extensions. Meme types, we have application, we have audio for media. What's the app name again?
Intune.
Intune, what's going on? You see, the first name sometimes just sticks with you for some reason. So for Intune, you guys could use audio, MPEG, meme type here, right? So let me just select this out. Please bookmark this.
Yeah, please.
All right. Cool. So our metadata is pretty good to go. That's a lot of arranging of stuff. Okay, let's go ahead and act. Well, we have the video path. So video, let me just call it video ref. Video ref. Video ref dot put data. We want to use the one that says put data with upload data and metadata. Everybody with me? But we want the completion. We love completions, right? We love to know what went wrong. So don't use just this one. Use the one that has the completion handler there. All right. Now, the data, we have data, video data. Metadata, we have metadata, metadata. And completion, this is metadata, metadata, and an error, both optional. Did we take care of our, okay, cool. So now error, not arrow, error. So here we'll say if let error equal to error, else if let metadata equal to metadata, and we'll do our expectation fulfilled here. At this point, we know what that does, right, everybody? Of
course. Yep.
All right, cool. So if we have an error, we will fail. Failed to upload video with error. Cool. Next, metadata. What do we care about here? What does metadata have? Metadata has bucket, cache, content type, content type. We could check the content type. We could check the name. We could check the path. We could check the size, storage reference. There's a lot of things we could check here. What are we caring about? Metadata, content type. Here I just simply say true. I don't care about the content type. We're not using it. I mean the metadata. I just say XCT assert true. If we have no error, everything went well, right? We're not interested in the metadata per se. This metadata here is for going up. If we want metadata information coming down, we could have checked for it, like, hey, is the path correct to this path, and so on. What's the last thing we're missing to do here? Let me see. Somebody... Wait. Okay, cool.
But the assert, so after act, what is the assert? The if let error, or is the assert just the assert, or?
Wait, you were saying, where am I? Like, oh, we haven't done the assert. I'm sorry. That's your question. Sorry. Assert.
Oh, okay.
All right. Greg's question, for now, we'll just put 5 because we know we have a bigger video. Greg?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense there.
Okay. We have a bigger video.
More data.
Yep.
Longer time.
Very good. Everything else should be good. We should get errors or fail spaces if anything goes wrong. So let's go ahead and test this. Click play. Yep, probably need to increase the time. Let's make 10 seconds. So that's going to be a very slow test, by the way. Not ideal. Did I run it again? Okay. So this time it passed because, again, this is very slow because the video, even if it's like 10 or 12 megs, that takes a while to upload. So let us, did anybody else get a pass here?
Yeah.
All right. So let us go and test this and see if we do have it on our Firebase storage. So go to Firebase, go to storage. So we have videos. So if everything went well, you should at least have a videos folder. You click inside of the videos folder and you click on Mulan. You click on name Mulan here. And now it should play. Do you know why the Phoenix sits and waiting? Okay.
Hey, Alex. Good job.
Cool. Tiff, you got it, right?
Sorry, the build succeeded. Hold on, wait. I'm waiting for my test.
I was getting excited. I thought you were.
I know, right? I was taking a little longer to type. Sorry, my nails are not looking easy.
No problem. Did anybody else confirm the video worked?
Yeah, it does work.
All right, very good. So we're able to see all 3 stacks of things we want to test on Firebase. So again, instead of like creating, somebody could do the test for Firebase while somebody else is creating the UI. Like one doesn't have to wait for the other. Once you validate that your Firebase stacks work, you know it works. So you could just take most of that code here, right? I could take most of that code here and put it into a function, right?
Okay, my test.
What's that?
My test succeeded, and I'm seeing it.
Very good.
Thank you.
Very good, very good. Any questions before we wrap up here? So today we did a lot. We reviewed what unit tests is like. Again, this is a unit test, right? The last thing we wrote here is not a unit test, right? It's an asynchronous test, right? We see why it's not a unit test because variables like that could change, right? If my internet is very slow, I gotta increase that number to maybe 20 seconds. Unit tests are supposed to be fast. This is not fast. This is slow. Everybody with me?
Yep.
Right? But it gets us testing our Firebase, right? Can I upload a video? Can I delete a video? Can I add a video to a user? There's a lot of things we could do, right? So as Tiffany was pointing out earlier, if you write your function, your database function, for example, fetch user, you could test fetch user. You don't have to create the UI for that. You don't have to be like, oh, May, are you done with the UI? No, you could test your function and know it works and move to the next task. Everybody with me?
Yeah.
All right, very, very good. Any questions before we conclude?
So for the part that I'm missing, can we like get right back on after this or?
Yeah. I'm here all day.
Okay, cool.
I just wanted to kind of stop so that capstone projects could continue, but I'll definitely address your question.
Thank you.
Very good. All right, so if we do not have any other questions. Hello? Okay, if we don't have any other questions, this concludes lecture for today. Again, the objective was to keep it shorter, but since we have a longer break, this is very helpful because now we could test our Firebase. Somebody else could write all the tests and then write functions to test and just test. Meanwhile, somebody else is working on UI. Everybody with me?
Yeah.
All right.